volume. Hey. Oh, and mute
Turn
that.
on our volume?
Because I was listening to our live stream to see where we were at, but okay. I think we're okay.
You think we're good?
I think we're okay.
We're live on the internet?
Because I was listening. I hope so. I don't know. I've got this big yellow banner saying error, YouTube is not receiving enough video, but we seem to be doing just fine. So, it looks fine.
I don't know. I'm eating seaweed sheets from my miso soup off a DPM. Like I'm one to talk to. I can check though, hang on. When you own an obsessively large amount of technology.
Hey, okay, chat says we're live.
Hey!
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening to everybody for whom it is not morning.
Good night. Here, see you later. F off, you stupid. Do you want it without ads? No, I don't want it without ads. Stop asking me.
I mean, I do want it without ads. I just don't want to pay.
I have no problem with ads because ad revenue is how content creators make money
True.
to be able to create content. If I was giving it to like a TV corporation, I'd have more of a problem with it. That's why I don't have TV or cable.
Fair.
But to give it to YouTube because they give a percentage of it to people who make stuff I enjoy watching, yeah, I watch the ads. I'm not a dick. It's live. I shouldn't be swearing. I'm not that kind of a person. I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna pay for anything. I want everything for free and I want my content now. No. I know how much work it takes to create content.
I know. I feel a little bit bad when I hit the skip button, but like,
now,
if it's a 10-minute video and there's 3 minutes of ads, it's like, can I just watch my video, please?
Now, I'm not going to lie, as I also check because apparently I received messages. What am I working on here?
What's going on? Okay, that's that.
Oh, mentioning the skinny syrups. Okay. Flavor my coffee without worrying about the sugar intake. I love those things. Sorry, I have a girlfriend who got diagnosed as diabetic at the beginning of the pandemic.
Fun.
So
good times.
Good times. So she's been worrying about her sugar intake, and she's like me. She likes coffee in the morning. So she was upset because she had to give up her creamer and her sugars and stuff. So I've been talking to her about like putting your protein powder into your coffee.
Yeah.
Which you can do, which kind of pretends to, it makes your coffee protein coffee essentially, which is how I like to drink my protein powder. It's not for everybody, but it's how because I don't like the shakes in the morning. It's not, ugh. It's like an afternoon snack thing to me.
Okay, but how do you get your protein powder so that it doesn't like clump up in the gross protein lumps? Because I've tried that and it just like bakes itself into protein lumps.
Yeah, or it fizzes up like crazy. If you just add it straightly to hot water, you make a paste. You make a roux first.
Okay.
Then, because if you're doing just enough to make a roux or like a very loose paste, that's that much water in your coffee cup at lukewarm temperature, or like just out of the tap. Fine,
fair enough.
You're really not changing the temperature of your coffee. When you pour your coffee in, it's not. It's not your temp. So that's what I do. I just make a roux first. But I also, if I'm making decadent like hot chocolate and stuff, hot chocolate mixes aren't sipping hot chocolates. And if I'm too lazy to make the sipping hot chocolate, which Diana's had for me, I've made her some.
It's like a melted chocolate bar.
It is like a melted.
You sip that.
I throw chocolate chips in with my hot chocolate powder.
Mm-hmm.
Make the hot chocolate powder more decadent.
Yes, agreed.
But I don't have marshmallows because I'm allergic to corn.
People are weighing in about skipping ads. It sounds like mostly we skip ads because we don't like ads.
Listen. Just remember, every time you skip an ad, that small YouTuber you watch does not get money for it. Which means you are essentially demanding that they give you their expertise without paying for their skill set.
I know.
You want to work for free? You don't work. Don't pretend otherwise. You're not being good. Now, if there is
You're just refreshing my guilt when I hit the skip button.
I'm going to guilt trip all of you people into being better humans if it kills me. There are ads you can choose to skip. If an ad really offends you, skip it. I do not stay for car ads. I don't stay for car ads. When I'm given the opportunity to thumbs those down, I do, because when am I going to buy a car? When am I going to buy
you're really not the market. You're really not the market for a car.
If you want to do like that 4-minute long health pseudoscience, not yeah, fine, whatever. Keep talking. I'll get up and get a new cup of tea. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll feed my cat. I'll brush my hair. Like there's other things I can do to occupy my time while I wait. It's not the end of the world.
All right, you've successfully guilted us all.
Good. Guilt trip over. Shall we begin? Are we good? Who's in the chat? Hi everyone. I don't know what's going on.
We've got Asa and Sherry and Nikki. Nikki, and who else? Jen is there. Tracy, Susanna.
You don't need to monetize us with my cleavage. Let's fix that. Okay, we're better. It's good. It's fine. Keep going.
Oh, and Jen's saying about protein powder. Apparently, some kinds dissolve better than others. So apparently, yes. I just have a not good dissolvey kind, but it tastes really good, so I don't care.
My protein powder is the Vega stuff. VEGA. It's vegan and free, and it's fine. It dissolves great. The mocha flavored goes perfectly in coffee with a little bit of mocha flavored skinny syrup. It's beautiful.
Oh, that does sound quite decadent. I've got this enormous actually this big jar of vanilla stuff.
Yours is huge. I've seen yours. Yours is massive. I like that one.
And it never goes bad, so whatever.
Well, it goes bad, but it takes forever and a hot minute to get there.
Yeah. Susanna says, you are reversed. Yes, we're streaming from my computer today, so this is what I see all the time, but now you see what I see instead of what Jocelyn sees.
Change is good. Helps keep you on your toes, people. All right, shall we begin with an intro?
Yeah. Oh, and thank you, Asa, that she said she liked my bracelets. I unpacked them this morning, and I'm like, hey, I should wear jewelry. I have that.
Hey, listen.
Yes, let's get started.
Your birthday gift finally arrived, so I have all of the components, and I can mail it to you next week.
Excellent. Yeah, yours is going in the mail on, Monday. Tomorrow.
Be lucky if I get you by my birthday on Wednesday. Let's be honest here, people.
That's fine. Whatever.
I have to give it to my brother-in-law to mail, and that's literally on his work schedule. It's when he's got a free moment, that's when it's going to go.
I can be patient. I'm not 3 years old. I can wait.
That, and if you want to know, I can just tell you on your birthday what's coming to you, so it's fine.
No, I want to open it. It ruins the surprise.
All right, Asa, you can't know. Diana wants it to be a no, it's fine. I can direct message people if they really want to know. All right, welcome to the Northern Knits podcast. We are two friends in fiber who talk knitting, crafting, and everything that sort of floats in our brain in between. Welcome to episode 206. We are live this week because this coming 10th of March and 11th of March, Diana and I get older. So our birthday treat to ourselves is no video editing and no show notes. So you get us live. You know, you do what you can as an adult. It's the little things that count.
Do we have an official anniversary date for the podcast? Because it's generically this month.
I'd have to go look. We can go find that out.
We recorded a couple, but then I didn't figure out how to post them until a couple weeks later. So there's a nebulous 3-week period where any day in there could be the anniversary officially.
I think I've got it written down in the first notebook where we were keeping show notes and notebooks, and I was doing it. And I was keeping track of some of the information in the first Northern Knits notebook, which is pink with a sticker on it. I think I have the information in there, but don't quote me. On the bright side, I know when my surgery date was, so I could literally go back and listen to episode 1 to figure out where I am in my life.
And track surgery, so but not very long post surgery, I think. Because the first 6 episodes were just you woke up long enough, stayed in bed, and then 2 hours later I left because you passed out again.
Which is, by the way, how we also did Knit Club. I didn't actually leave my bed unless I was doing my very romantic walks with my boyfriend around my apartment while my mother monitored us, so I didn't push too hard. And I did everything in bed, everything in bed. I hosted Knit Club, I did podcasting, I chatted with my dad on video call. I did everything from my bed for the first few weeks, except for the twice daily walks or 3 times daily walks I had to go, because you got to get up and be mobile post-surgery. right away post-surgery to get the blood flowing and to, get fluid on your lungs.
It sucks so much. It sucks so hard, and you hate everything, and you hate everyone that has your best interests at heart because you just want them to leave you alone.
So grumpy. And it's even worse is my scar is much larger than yours. So imagine doing that while walking around while holding your belly in without being able to put pressure on your belly.
Yeah, that's man, so much worse. So much worse.
I was looking at my mom. It's like must have been like day 3 or 4. I'm like, now I know why you were so mad at me when you had your hysterectomy. Mom's like, yeah, that was my 4th. I'm like, dear God, no. 1 abdominal surgery is sufficient. I do not require 3 more.
God.
I told her I do not need to empathize with her that way.
One is more than enough. No more surgeries. Not allowed.
What is? I'm good. I can't say it'll be my last surgery, but if it's the only abdominal surgery I have in my life, super happy. Super happy. Surgeries are hard. Recovery is difficult. It's boring. It's slow. It's long. You can't rush it. You have to do as you're told, and if you don't, you pay for it for the rest of your life. And those are the rules.
Sherry has kindly gone back in our history and says our first audio podcast was March 23rd.
Good. That means we started just around my birthday. It would have been our birthday week then.
Probably. We probably would have recorded this week, and then it took me 2 weeks to figure out how to post things.
So we're right on track.
Perfect. Well, it's all the birthdays this week.
Saves me looking, and I appreciate the saved effort. Okay. Because we don't make show notes in advance. This is always a bit of a rush. Literally a minute while the intro music was playing, I was rushing to the closet because I didn't like my first sweater and I had to change it to my vest. This is how things work, people. I call her in a panic 9 minutes before we start. She sees my face. I go, wait a minute. I gotta feed my cat, pour my hot liquid.
This is why I put in the Patreon Discord 20 minutes ahead of time, like, everybody get your tea and your cake. Like, everybody. Hint, hint. Hosts included.
Always me. I believe my reply was, I need to put on a shirt and a bra. Oh, lives are stressful. All right.
Oh, Louise is in here too.
Hey, Louise.
And Aaron's here. And Rita.
Ooh, hey. We got
everybody in here, yeah.
Wonderful.
This is such a great party.
In my ginormous mug, I have lunch because it wouldn't be alive if I'm not eating. There are traditions we have to maintain. I'm actually drinking. Oh no, there's no English on the front of the package, but I got a new type of instant miso soup, and it comes and you mix the 2 packets together in the cup. And this cup holds 2 portions, so I mix 2 of the dry packet, 2 of the wet packet, and I make instant miso soup. So I'm having lunch. I needed lunch. It's noon Manitoba time. It's lunchtime.
Mr. Diana made me breakfast today, or brunch, I guess.
It'll be brunch if it's after 9 a.m. and before 2 p.m.
Well, it was brunch then. He made me French toast and a sausage today. So nice. What? Yeah.
Which sounds like a nice fancy breakfast. What did he want? No, I'm kidding. He's just...
I did a lot of cleaning yesterday, is what happened. And he did not. So he made me breakfast.
He was paying you back.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, he's been unearthing the kitchen, so,
for an hour and a half. An hour and a half. I've been binding off. And I can now finally hold
the remaining stitches in frame?
In frame of my 40-inch cord. Ah! Oh my God. Okay. I'm not even doing a fancy bind off. This is literally the knit through the back loop super stretchy bind off.
You're making me very sad looking at it over here in the corner. Like, you're gonna get real big.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The rows at the end, you're like, oh my God, what have I committed to? But it's the same way with all crescent shaped shawls. All triangle, like all the shawls I love. There is no such thing as a short row at the end.
On the plus side, your shawl has become my meeting knitting.
Hey!
Or the while something's compiling knitting.
Yep.
I get paid way too much money to wait for things to compile.
Yes, you do, but take it.
I have a 5-year degree in waiting for things to compile and Googling the basics over and over again because I never remember them.
Hey, I have a degree in talking and reading and arguing points and blowing people's minds with words like, your Twitter feed is your history documentation in 200 years. But don't worry, because there are no way it's going to be gone, even if you delete it, because it still exists in a ghost format for a very long time.
Yeah.
And if there's anything historians are good at doing, it's tracking down tiny little bits of fragments of information and blowing everything out of proportion. I know, I have a degree in it. We love doing it. That's okay. I fell down a rabbit hole of 19th century corset construction this week. All I've been looking at.
I suppose I should mention what I'm drinking out of my. I dug out the Northern Knits podcast cup. Finally, I found what cupboard we put it in. We unpacked it ages ago. I just didn't remember what cupboard it went into.
I know where mine is. I did not think to put my soup in it today.
So yesterday, I went to the Fancy Donut store, which I'll talk about in a minute. But less than a block away from the Fancy Donut store is the Fancy Tea store. And so we had to go and get more tea. So I'm drinking some Monk's Blend from All Things Tea in Kitchener. And it's not the Monk's Blend that
from Starbucks.
Had. Oh. Yeah, it's not that Monk's whatever which
David's
or are we David's Tea Monk's Blend? Anyway, it's I should have brought the package up. It is Ceylon tea with grenadine is what the package said.
What?
So it's like just a nice black tea, but it's got a slight cherry smell to it and just a very light sweetness. It's very lovely. I quite enjoy this.
I need the pandemic to end so I can come stock your fancy new spaces. And drive
there might have been an ulterior motive to going to the tea store because somebody has a birthday this week. So
that'd be me. Might be obsessed with tea.
So there might be some tea in somebody's birthday present.
Listen, you already know I ordered your very favorite blend of coffee.
Yeah.
From your favorite coffee place.
But I went to the donut store, so they had a donut that had candy bacon with a whiskey drizzle.
Of course.
And gold leaf.
But a gold leaf donut.
I have a freaking donut with gold leaf on it.
Gold leaf. Of course you have a gold leaf donut. Happy 30th birthday.
Come on. Focus on the gold leaf. Look at that. There's gold leaf on my donut. It is so extra. I love it.
We can lever you. The gold leaf is extra. I mean,
I saw a donut with gold leaf and I don't care what else is on this donut. I need the gold leaf donut for the podcast.
Everything about this donut doesn't matter. It's sold. I saw gold leaf. Put it in the box. It's coming home.
It's because it's March, and so they've got all their St. Patrick's Day stuff. So they've got all their green and gold and stout and chocolate stout and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But whiskey and gold leaf.
And gold leaf on your donut.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an amazing discovery.
Yeah. One of these was loose. Come on, this one.
I'm hoping walking around in the summer will be a thing, so then I can go to O Donuts and get their pineapple curd coconut pina colada donut.
This was glorious.
Well, yeah, it looks like a
Hello,
really.
Mr. Diana. What are you looking for? A Loom Cube is in that cupboard somewhere.
Hi, Chris.
On the bottom there.
The internet would love to say hello. Hi.
You're being funny and cute.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've been friends with him longer than I've been friends with you. I know what he does. Weirdo. I love him to bits.
I think he just slunk out of the room.
Yep.
I've never had to really use that word to describe a real human being doing a real thing.
Listen, I think it was one night when we were walking home from something. We literally watched them do that thing where they're walking and they get shorter on one of the promenades up the stairs.
Yeah, that's true.
Another length. They're sober people while they do this.
Completely sober. Gosh, I cannot imagine what shenanigans the two of them would get up to if they were drunk.
I'm not sure I want to.
Be terrifying.
I'd still be sober.
Absolutely terrifying.
And I would still encourage it, so it'd be fine. Ooh, you want to go dance on the fountain ledge? You go for it. Give me your coat first. This seems nice. Okay, go have fun. Let me know when you fall in.
All right.
Too much Roger and Hammerstein in those children.
I don't even know what that is.
Because you didn't date the theater brother.
No, I did not.
All right. Not much in the way of cool threads. Mostly because it's been really warm in the province. I've been doing my cardigans, but I've also been cleaning my entire closet. So lots of washing, lots of other stuff going on, but mostly just socks and stuff. But it is currently noon and it is 8 degrees above zero today.
What? I mean, I've got my window open a little bit, but
Forecasted high was for 11 degrees. I don't think we'll get to 11 today, but we're definitely at 8 by noon.
it is -3 and it feels like -9.
Yeah, we're 8 degrees Celsius. Both windows are open, and this is day 2.
Oh, hi. Wow. But tomorrow we're going up to 7, and
Okay,
then
that's good.
9, and then 11, and then 12 on my birthday on Thursday.
Yeah, it's too far away for me to say that's going to happen yet. I'm going to wait till we're closer to know what the temperature's going to do. That
I
just
mean,
seems
they've been saying like 10 to 12 this week for 2 weeks, so I think it's actually going to happen.
I know better. I'm going to wait till it gets here.
I'm very optimistic. No, I don't need an ad. Weather app. Oh, but then it goes back down to hovering around 0 after that, so.
Still March. We're still in Canada.
Yes, but I'm in southern Ontario, so.
Still in Canada.
Oh, I need to plant some seeds after this so that they're actually like alive in time to put in the ground.
That you actually need to do.
Do need to do that. Okay, that's what I'm doing after this. I'm gonna have to change my pants. I put on new pants, or I got new jeans, and they bought myself new jeans, and they arrived this week in the mail.
Okay.
And in some infinite wisdom, I decided, yeah, I can have like light colored jeans. I won't get those dirty.
I mean, you'll figure out how.
So yeah, I've got like almost white pants on right now. I believe they were called a flax or some such. But if I'm gonna play in the dirt, I gotta change those.
You're not me. I can't recommend gardening in white pants.
No, that sounds like a terrible idea.
I can garden in white pants, but I'm weird.
You're just immune to dirt, but only if you're wearing white.
You're not wrong. It's quite funny. All right. This bind off will never end. Okay. What's Chad up to?
Chad's talking about tea. Sherry says she has degrees in reading and listening.
Yeah.
Asa says she ordered some Easter tea. It is black tea with orange. Oh, that sounds really good.
That'd be really nice. Really nice. I gotta go buy an Easter card. By me, I mean my brother-in-law. I'm still not allowed off my property, but my doctor informed me this week I'm allowed to actually have someone come into the house if I'd like.
Oh my, that's big. I went to a gathering of people on Friday, consisting of the people that Mr. Diana sees in the office on a weekly basis and their families. So we all have the same germs anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, we had like a big dinner, and it was the most people I've seen at one time since last summer. And there were children, and there was a cat, and there was way too much food, and it was so beautiful. So good.
Yeah, we're getting there. Not that much longer now. What, 6, 8 months? That's nothing.
Compared to the year we've already done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is time? A perception, really. Did I mention that theater major was into philosophy?
Yeah. Yeah. The armchair philosopher theater major.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't help that I read a lot, so almost all of his concepts make sense to me.
Have you informed him that the floor is a shelf?
Yes, he agrees with me.
God.
We also decided that we agree with his brother that apartments are people bookcases. We're going to make the argument that offices are people cabinets.
I really can't argue with offices being people cabinets.
You really can't.
I can't argue with that.
Labeled cubicle. There's lots of glass. Everything's very strictly organized and put in a very specific order, which is cabinet or a cabinet of curiosity pre-museums, which is where my brain's going at it, with a lot of really pretty glass windows, doors, fixtures, and usually a very big epic scale. So offices are people cabinets.
Offices are people cabinets. I cannot disagree with this. Okay, I have documented the ridiculous donut. I'm going to eat the ridiculous donut now.
Eat the ridiculous donut. I'm still having my lunch. Have you been wearing anything in the lovely warm weather?
Just not my
so,
usual.
Not so warm for you?
I mean, it's not exactly cold. -10.
No.
It's like, it's that wet cold though, so it's like colder than you think it should be, given the numbers.
Well, you grew up in a dry-ish cold.
Mm-hmm.
It is a different cold.
It is a different cold. It's amazing. What have I been wearing? I wore... Oh! It was nice enough one day this past week that I got to sit outside for a couple hours in the afternoon and work on my patio that I now have because I have a house, which still blows my mind. But while I sat out there, I needed just a little bit more something on the back of my neck, so I put on my Comfort Fade cardi.
Ooh,
to
lovely.
Work outside on my patio because it was so nice that one day.
Excellent.
Jumping out of my skin every 10 minutes when an icicle fell off of something and shattered. They're loud. Yes. Very alarming. It was a good day.
I hear birds chirping. Office window's open. Sorry, I'm focusing on this bind off. I like to get it done. No matter how quick the bind off is going to be, it's never as fast as you think it should be.
No, it never is. Chad is still talking about tea, also weather.
Tea, weather, they're all things we like to talk about and or complain about depending on the item.
I guess we can talk about what we've been working on.
Sure.
Who also wants to know what kind of bind off?
Oh, it's just my super stretchy knit through the back loop one because I want to give some variety for bind off options. And Asa did an I-cord one, I believe.
Oh.
So that gives us 2 different bind offs, which would be excellent for the pattern.
I feel like I should do a third different one.
Sure, absolutely. I want to have it written so that people can make it larger. I'm not sure why. Or smaller if they want to change it. Like I want to make it so that they can make it the size they want it to be.
You can basically just pick a point to stop and...
Yeah.
Oh, Sherry wants to know, have any of you seen a polar bear in real life living in Manitoba?
Not while I lived in Manitoba, but while I lived up north, yes.
I've seen them in the zoo. I feel like that doesn't quite count. Also says I can do a Pico bind off. That had actually crossed my mind, but goodness, those take a long time.
That would be really pretty.
It would be really pretty.
Diana?
I'll think about it.
Really, almost like we've been doing a podcast and been friends for a very long time now. Do you think I had any sort of illusion that you were going to be done before I released this pattern?
Fair,
any stretch of any imagination that I'd be waiting on you? No, I just gave you the pattern because you wanted to knit it.
Yeah, no, this is not. It's my meeting knitting, so it's not the thing that I'm working on in the evenings.
No, it's. I am not even remotely worried, my dear. A Pico bind off would be really pretty.
I might. I will give it a hard think.
Hard think? Okay.
I have quite a while to think about it still, so.
You got some time.
Got some time.
I have my King's Flame shawl. my Half Moon tea. Then I have the Winter Lights shawl by Stephen West. And after that, I've got socks I've still not casted on. It's now the 7th of March. Doing great on that knit a pair of socks in a month goal. So good.
Yeah, you gotta actually start them to finish them.
Yeah, that'd be a thing.
Yeah.
I read the pattern. Does that count?
I mean, it's a good step towards starting.
I'm using a pattern, which means these socks will have a project page.
That's good. That's another good step.
What is it? And I've got the 8-bit to pick up this week because I believe we're racing. But that's it. I've just got the 3 things I'm working on at the moment. I don't know if you noticed this, but I knit a lot on a crescent-shaped shawl this week.
Sorry, you said you had 3 things.
Yes.
I also have 3 things that I can talk about.
Oh, lovely.
One of them I cannot talk about.
Okay.
There's maybe a secret thing.
Ominous. Guys, I'm getting socks for my birthday. I know I'm not.
No, you're not getting socks. It's not socks.
Not socks. Would you like me to go first, or would you like to go first?
Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
So decisive. Sorry, I got distracted. Susanna was talking about the tea that she had, Christmas in Paris. Luxurious chocolatey flavor paired with lavender and cool mint.
Ooh, that could be good, even with the lavender in it.
That sounds glorious. That sounds like all of my favorite things. Susanna also says we can just send our sock yarn and pattern to Asa, and even with the travel time, they probably get knit faster.
True story.
Yeah. Yeah, I can talk about things.
Sure.
I'm gonna talk about.
Gonna throw you all out of whack because I almost always have to go first.
I know. I'm like, what do I want to do first? Let's just start with King's Flame because we were already talking about it.
Sure. Yeah, that works.
I apparently stopped in the middle of a row, so that's great. I've been picking up my donuts, so I didn't want to touch my knitting. I haven't been knitting. Okay. I haven't done a whole lot more. I think the most productive thing I did with this week was take a really pretty picture. Let's catch the natural light. There we go. Yeah, so I haven't made a whole lot more progress. I'm into the 6 rows of knots section.
Oh, good.
Buttons, knots, whatever.
We call them knots. Technically, they're Estonian buttons. I don't know which one of the two of us started down the knot thread, but here we are.
They're buttons. I know they're buttons.
I know they're buttons too, but knot is the word that comes out of my brain.
They look like knots. Anyway. So I think after this knot section, I finally get into the lace section? Maybe?
Yes. Yes, after the 6, you start interweaving your lace sections.
Excellent. Okay. So this color is, it's the Diana colorway from Malabrigo in their Makita base, which is a single ply fingering weight. All the colors of fall. Pretty much all the colors of fall.
Yes.
Sort of like a muted, moody fall.
Autumnal themed in its coloring.
Yep. And then plain black for the lace. Which still ends up looking rather heathered on camera somehow, but I swear it's not in real life. It's just black in real life.
I was talking to Asa and she's like, my colors are so muted compared to yours. I'm like, listen, not everybody on the planet loves a mofo strong color contrast the same way I do. It's just not. It's everyone's gonna have their own preferences, and I think her muted one looks great.
Yeah,
I think good.
It's really nice to see a different, like, such a wide range of colors, because you've got the bold contrast. Asa's got the like pastel low contrast, and then I've got some kind of like dark moody nonsense going on, and like and they all look so different, and it's just the colors.
Yeah.
Well, the colors and some dubious spacing between the knots. Buttons.
That's fine. Whatever. Again, you guys had rough notes. I think you did great.
The notes are much less rough now.
They're starting to become a pattern. Slowly but surely.
It's fun getting to see the process.
It will become something that is English. Right now, I mean, we're a little less Jocelyn than we were when we started, but we're still heavily Jocelyn. That needs to be translated for people. All right.
I believe it is your turn.
It is. What's chat doing?
More tea. Susanna's tea is ready. Excellent. My colors are pretty, and everyone agrees they look more like knots than buttons.
That's what they're
called. Also says that her and I hacked the pattern without knowing it.
True story, and I love it. So I'm super excited. I'm also stalling because I'm down to that last 30 some odd stitches of a bind off. Which is just awkward to show. Okay, let's talk about my half moon tea. Because I talk about the King's Flame, but I'm 30 some odd stitches from finishing. I'd like to just finish it and then talk about it. Literally.
Wow, you're so close.
I'm going to finish, then we'll talk about it, guys.
All right, I feel so absurd, literally eating gold. What is my life?
Eating gold. All right, I have been making a slow and steady progress down the body of my half moon tea. It's not super exciting, but you know what, guys? This is what happens when you knit a sweater. There's the body. Whether you knit it first because it's bottom up or you knit it last because it's top down, it's still there. You still need to knit it. It just won't go away. It's fingering, so it's taking its sweet effing time, which is fine. I only work on it for about an hour and a half each evening while I watch the news. So it's not like I'm putting an obscene amount of time into this right now. Mostly because it's stockinette in the round. And at some point, your brain just goes, no, really, I need a break. Give me something more interesting to work on, please. Mm-hmm. So I have made 2 inches of progress. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
So here is my half moon tea. I have turned it right side out for everybody. It is slowly coming along. The main body colorway is this heavily variegated yarn from Zen Yarn Gardens called Cottage Girl. It is so nice to knit with. I'm going to be ordering more Zen Yarn Garden. I don't know how I'm going to afford it, but it's going to happen. Then I've got my sleeves, which if I actually hold my sleeve out on, because they're on needles, hold my sleeve out properly, you can see the moon pattern a lot better. So my color work was done with some Knit Picks Bennett colorway, which is this beautiful rich blue, and the last remaining skein of Noble Ruby Designs that I have in their Winter Berries, which is a white, incredibly lightly speckled yarn. So that is being done. I have now, as you can see, because I pulled the sleeve out, I'm making progress. I am past the point for bind off because this is a cropped pattern. I'm just making it full length because I don't wear cropped. It's not a thing I like. But I am officially, I gotta be at like the 10 or 11 inch mark. I don't know where my tape measure is right now, so I can't just measure it. I gotta find my tape measure again. But I am, when I hold it up on my palm, I am past my hand. So I am longer than my foot length, and my foot length is about 6 or 7 inches or something ridiculous. My foot's really long, that's what it is. So I'm past the point where I would be turning a heel. That's where I'm at. But on my sweaters, I have to, my fingering weight sweaters, I don't measure till when I'm holding it, I get to here, because I have to be pretty much the length of my forearm to be my body, for my fingers stretched out fully before I even start to measure. So like I've still got a ways to go, but I need a minimum of 18 inches before I do my ribbing, and that is from the underarm, and that is a minimum to be a proper length sweater for me. That's not tunic length, that's just to Jocelyn's hip bones. Just to get where it's supposed to sit. So this is the 2 balls I'm currently interchanging. You can see they're getting kind of tiny. They're not like super tiny. I've still got like miles of yardage to go, but I'm eating away at that. So my focus has primarily been the King's Flame last week. So this will continue to be like that. I pick up and when I need a break, which is really good because I'm going to pick up the 8 sweater this week, and that's a lot of thinking knitting. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the body stock knit's going to grow a lot quicker because I'm going to want that break. Whereas the King's Flame for me, an eyelet lace of my own design, is not quite as mentally tasking as perhaps an all-over colorwork pattern would be. But I do have my literally just off frame on a TV table tray. I have my ball winder and Swift set up because I'm winding that freaking sock yarn so I can start it. I gotta wind this last ball of Zen Yarn Garden too, so I'm gonna put that over here. Literally, I can pull it over here towards me. I don't know if it'll show up on the screen. Look, here's a Swift. It's on a TV table tray. Here's my bag with Erin's yarn in it and my needles. I need to wind up. I think I'm going to cake the main skein because it's 100 grams, but my mini, I'm going to hand wind like into a ball. And then I'm going to split that ball into two. So I can do contrast toes, heels, and cuffs and make sure I have an equal amount for both socks. Does that make sense? Maybe I should split the main skein into two too. So that way I know for sure I have enough for the second sock. Because I got to do this one sock at a time because it is patterned and I need to pay attention to where I am in the pattern. So two at a time would cause me some grief. I'm not going to do that to myself. I am instead going to restart my miso soup and eat more sheets of seaweed off of my DPN. Because I forgot to bring a spoon over.
Asa says she bought a wooden ball winder last week and it finally arrived. And Sherry says she loves your project bag.
My Halloween one is really pretty. It's from Sew Into Knitting. And I really love Halloween.
I suppose it's my turn to talk about a thing.
It is. I'm hungry.
Okay. Reach. I'm farther over than I usually am. But I put the projects all in the place where I usually do. Okay. So, if you're in the Patreon Discord, you already know this, because I posted a picture last night. But I got the sleeves attached. They're of dubious attachment right now, so I'm like really, really being careful here. 1 second. They're attached with one round of knitting, like they are just attached. So like dubious.
No. She posted a photo and said, "Hey, Jocelyn, want a race?" That's what she did. It was a progress photo. It was a challenge. She threw down the gauntlet.
Well, we talked about doing a race, so like, you want a race?
We did, and yes, we are. We're racing. It's on. You've caught up to me. No holds bar. I am let loose. So as soon as I finish this damn bind off. Oh yeah.
So here we go. Here's the body of a sweater with sleeves attached. And I'm really excited about this. This is really okay. Let's see though. There we go. I sincerely hope that I attached the sleeves correctly. Because one, I was drinking wine while I was attaching them last night, so you know that's always a good start to the story. But two, I'm so certain that I counted the number of stitches across the body that it told me to, and then I went to keep knitting chart B around the sleeves to attach them, but I found that chart B didn't quite line up, so I don't know if I like didn't count properly or like I put the sleeves on holders slightly incorrectly, or I don't know. So everything's shifted by 2 or 3 stitches.
Weird.
Yeah. So I just had to do a little bit of rejiggering of exactly where the sleeve is attached, give or take 3 stitches, which I think will be fine. I can't see that actually being a problem.
There's no way you're gonna notice once it's finished. There's no way you're gonna notice. I mean, you're going to notice because you know exactly where the flaw is. None of us regular plebeians are gonna have a hot clue.
You know, I'm not even sure I will notice, to be totally honest. So.
And if we're really that close to your armpit, we better have bought you dinner first.
There. So. I have attached sleeves. Ta-da! Oh, yes, my pants and my very long hair that just never is in frame. I'm so excited for this sweater. I can't even. This is just.
I thought we were both so stoked about it. We were keeping up with it, and then we both just dropped it.
Yeah.
hot potato.
It was a lot of knitting all at once.
Distracted by finishing my blanket of doom last year.
Gosh, I'm just so excited. I'm so motivated to finish it now before it gets too warm to wear it, because it is thick.
Yeah.
This is. Oh.
I am so stoked I decided to steek mine. Otherwise, I would never wear it. I would never wear it. Never.
Yeah, that would be really a shame if you did the entire thing and then was like,
no way.
Actually, I hate pullovers. That's a lot of time to sink into something you're not going to wear.
I'm really not that fond of pullovers. I've done a couple. That might be the only ones I ever do. I might knit other pullover patterns and just steek them once I'm comfortable with steeking on this one. And I may never not steek afterwards, because I don't wear pullovers. I get too warm. I prefer cardigans.
My hair is stuck in my microphone.
For the record, that means yes, The Librarian by Skein-Deer Knits, which is a pattern I own and I already have yarn for, that will be happening this year, will be a pullover with a button band, with buttons, because it's a librarian and it needs to be a librarian length for Jocelyn with longer sleeves, possibly with thumb holes, possibly not with thumb holes. Well, it's bottom up, so I'm doing my cuff first, so I can totally put thumb holes in. And I won't be super annoyed with the sweater at that point, so it'll be fine. So that'll be happening, but that's definitely, I'm making it a cardigan. Or like I'm gonna steek down the middle of it, because I won't wear the pullover, and it is so freaking pretty. It needs to be worn. So freaking pretty. All right.
What's chat saying? Nikki Knits was saying, as long as your stitch count per section is correct, it won't matter. Good point. Is my stitch count still correct? Did I move it correctly? I think so.
You'll find out when you
try. I think the body stitch is still. I think the counts for like knit across so many stitches, I think those all still lined up. It was just that I had to like rotate slightly. It's fine. It's fine. The sleeves are on. It's fine. If I wave hard enough, it'll be fine.
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you.
She also Nikki also wants to see the librarian. I assume the librarian as a cardi.
Yeah. It's happening.
And also wants to do the librarian too. I also want to do the librarian. I would have casted it on the instant you sent me the pattern. I just lack the yarn. So I need to actually order some yarn.
My mother may have bought the pattern for me, Elsa and Diana, just because she could.
I super appreciate it. I wanted to cast it on so bad, but I was one skein short of the yarn I wanted to use, so.
Well, let's just order new yarn. Oh no.
I know, it's terrible. Oh.
Such a hardship.
Uh-huh.
I'm having lunch.
Well, it wouldn't be alive if you weren't having lunch.
Listen, I'm hungry.
Elsa says, your mom is so nice.
My mom is delightful.
Your mom is fun.
She's also really, really quiet, so if you're not paying attention, you don't notice. But if you pay attention, you'll notice I dribbled. She's a filthy, filthy mind. My mom tells the dirtiest jokes.
But if you're not paying quiet, and then just like out of the blue, this like,
whoa, and you're like, where the hell did the 18th century sailor come from?
Like that is so not what I expected, and it's hilarious.
My very quiet, very reserved mom all of a sudden lets loose with a, like, she'll look at somebody and go, oh, he has a really nice ass. Mother! You cannot do that to people. They're not prepared for you. They need warnings. Jeez, woman.
She speaks when she has something important to say.
She does. The downside is if she doesn't like you, you know it. She's a very definitive personality. There's no hiding. My mom doesn't enjoy you. She'll tell you. All right, let's talk the King's Flame. Because it's done. We're done.
Oh, it's bound off. Oh my gosh, that looks so freaking amazing.
We are not blocked, which means this lace is going to open up like crazy.
I thought you were going to end that sentence, open up like Christmas. Like,
what? No?
I don't know. That's where my brain went with that. Like Christmas, like presents, opening a present. I don't know.
Fair. I've got 3 rows of lace, then 6 rows of lace, then 9 rows of lace, and right now they all look pretty similar. They're not. Once this is blocked, it's gonna be, and I gotta block out that bump that you get at the top of crescent shaped shawls, like the usual blockings that happen. But here we are. We are done. Done.
Gosh, that looks so cool with the gradients.
I know.
Love it.
So good. I have leftover yarn, which is good because not everybody has the same yardage per ball, which gives everybody the option of using the one they really, really want. My color 2 is super not a lot left, which is fine. My color 1, which is my beefy 200-gram gradient one, I still got a bunch left, but that's fine. Because I'm like, again, that's sort of like, not everybody likes leftovers, so maybe I'll put in an addition at the bottom if you want like chevron stripes, or stripe out something else in a different lace pattern if you want to use the last year gradient in that. So I still have a bunch of fine tuning, boring admin work to do on the shawl, but we are, first one is off the needles. I say first one because odds are pretty good I'll end up knitting 2. That's how that works for me. Because I can't rip back. Commit or die when Jocelyn does design patterns.
Chat likes your shawl, and I do believe your mom is in the chat.
My mom in the chat.
Well, Barb Douglas, mom says thank you for comments. Will admit I am indeed blunt.
Yes.
Also said that her shawl almost doubled when she blocked it.
Yeah, that lace is going to open up like crazy. Like, it's going to be big. So my sleeves are a little more attached than your sleeves. I've got, I pulled my 8-bit out so I could count, guys. I've got almost, yeah, I'm definitely into I'm into the last chart. I'm ready to, it looks like I've set up all my stitches. So like I put little stitch markers between each of my pattern repeats. So I don't mess up my pattern repeats. Because nobody wants to mess up pattern repeats when you're doing 400 plus stitches on a needle.
Gosh, no.
You don't want to get to the end of it and realize something went sideways. And then different stitch markers to indicate where my sticking stitches are. So yeah, I'm all ready to race. So after we're done this live, it is any man's game until we record next Sunday to see how far we get. Noting that I have no idea how to do the decreases, and I struggled. I kind of can tell you I struggled because I messaged her a lot about the increases on the sleeves, and I still did them wrong.
Oh dear.
I don't understand what I'm doing. It's all learning. So, but this was one of the projects, my 8-bit was one of the projects I put on my list for the monthly check-in with Louise. I wanted to have this done for next month. So I wanted to have it done for the end of March anyway. So I'm happy to race you. Oh, I gotta wash and block. Perfect, because tomorrow's laundry day.
It's gonna be an epic race.
Because I also have to finish my half moon tea by the end of the month because of our podcast anniversary. So yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, I gave you a break on that one this week. I didn't actually touch my Ome tea at all.
Gotta make sure I don't sit up too high because this is a V-neck shirt. There's some boobies going on here. It's a thing. All right, I got one more left. You got one more left?
I got one more left.
Was not sure about putting this white thing right behind me, which is like literally, I do not know how long we've had these Connect Cube crate things. Like, so long I don't remember when the family got them, but like pretty much everything else in my life it's inherited. I'm inheriting my parents' freezer. They just got a standing freezer. So like open it like a fridge. And it's a deep. My mom's like, oh, we got one of those. First words out of my mouth. Can I have your old freezer? I'm gonna ask any questions about her new freezer. I just want to know if I can have her old one. I don't actually have a deep freeze. I've lived in a fridge freezer for many years, which is not super helpful when you have to make everything from scratch. It makes bulk things like bulk roasted freezing roasted vegetable, like it makes my life a little bit more difficult and less cost efficient. So super excited. I'm getting a deep freeze, mostly because my mom got a fancy new one, but I don't care. Guys, my mom's short than me. She is. So I could get to the bottom of her old deep freeze. She couldn't without risking falling in. So we got her a standing one. I think she said she was looking at the 5-foot high one, and she turned around and her dad had somehow bought a 6-foot high one.
Huh.
My dad's over 6 feet. So this makes sense in my brain. Would have bought one his height. But then they had to get it in through the door. So they had to get it up the stairs, through the door, in through the. So something about telling, people to watch out for toes. My dad having to stop midway to take a door off its hinges. Then getting it to where it was going to go live. Then he had to take down a shelf and move things out because obviously the standard deep freeze is lower, so there were shelves above in the storage room for it. And just like, that's not going to work for a standing freezer. You can't have a shelf running across the wall right in the middle of where the freezer needs to go. So I'm not sure Dad was prepared for quite that much work to bring a new freezer home, but it happened. I'm excited. I can't wait to go see it. I'm super stoked. How did you get to buy something really nice for yourself, like a new freezer? It's such a cool thing to have to go buy. It's more exciting than a washer and dryer. And a new washer and dryer is pretty dang exciting. All right. My last thing. You have a thing? I've got a thing?
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to talk about my thing first. Because I went first. I'm not used to this.
It's totally fair.
I'm just changing it up. Okay. So, I don't generally do commissions. If like some rando walks up to me and is like, "Hey, can you knit me a sweater?" I'll be like, "No."
I price that out via a base minimum living wage plus cost for decent yarn. Nobody's taking me up on the offer.
Yeah. No, I don't even bother with that. I just straight up like something don't knit fast enough, something just generally no. It's just hard no.
Near and dear to me family members, in which case I rarely charge.
However, somebody asked me to make a sweater for a robot. So I said yes.
Or a husband's coworker?
Yeah, so yeah.
You're making a robot?
This guy has a robot arm in his workshop that he does stuff with. I think he's even got a YouTube channel or something. But his robot arm is named Herman. And he decided that Herman was getting cold in the shop, and so he asked if I would make Herman a sweater.
Herman's a robot arm.
Herman is a robot arm. Not a whole robot, just the arm.
That's just an incrementally increasing tube to fit Herman, since he'll be wider at his base than he is necessarily at his digit.
Yeah, well, Herman is like 80% joints, so I got sent a technical schematic for this robot arm.
I mean,
so
precise.
I had to pull out my high school algebra and drafting class and like trig, all of this stuff to figure out how to make a tube that will fit around the joints. Because like, first of all, I just have like diameters of tubes, right?
Yep.
So I had to figure out the circumference of the tube and then like gauge swatch, blah blah blah. But then I realized, wait, these robot joints are at like 90-degree angles, and so this thing has to stretch to fit across the 90-degree angle of tubes joining each other.
Wouldn't that be like sock heels?
Yeah. So my plan is, because these joints can just rotate freely 360 degrees, and if you try and put like a whole sock on this thing, basically, like it's not going to work. Because it can just rotate every freaking which way. So I'm just making a series of tubes that go on the straight, non-jointed parts, which means I only have to make 3 tubes for this very large arm.
Are you gonna rip them, or are you gonna so like they cinch up a little bit?
Well, I also decided that I have been loving the charts on the 8-bit sweater, and that I also had this sport weight yarn that was acrylic, and why not make so I'm making more of the gauge swatch for the 8-bit sweater. All this boils down to, I did like 45 minutes of math to figure out what size to make this tube that I'm now holding up.
You are going to do so much color work knitting over the next few weeks.
Yeah. Well, So I worked it out, and like the sections on the robot that aren't joints are actually not very big. Like it's like I don't have to make like a 5-foot tube or anything. It's going to be like 3 things of this size that are the height of the chart, which is however tall the Tetris chart is. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. The Tetris chart was like Clue 1. That was
Yeah. Well, here's the Tetris chart. So like,
yeah.
I'm not even doing the tall part, so it's just like it's like 4 inches with some
Oh,
ribbing on each end.
you're making
So
3.
and like 3 of those.
Um,
So yeah, I'm making a robot sweater is where this story is going.
we need photos when that's done.
Yeah. So right now it's just this is Nitpicks Brava. The yellow is caution, and the gray is cobblestone heather or something, some such. In fact, it is cobblestone heather. But yeah. Um yeah, that was a very long story to say that I'm making a sweater for a robot, and I don't do commissions unless it's for a robot because yeah. My husband's office has a Boston Dynamics spot, and I've also been requested to knit it leg warmers.
Oh my god, yes.
So Spot's getting some leg warmers. Herman the Arm is getting some cozies.
80s retro leg warmers.
Yeah.
I only accept super nerdy retro 80s leg warmers.
Yeah. And making leg warmers for the Spot is going to be super easy because Spot's legs are only like that big. It's super skinny.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
And they're even like wider at the end, so if I just make ribbed leg warmers that are about this big when they're not stretched, then they'll fit just fine.
Yeah.
So I knit sweaters for robots now. That's apparently my thing.
Listen.
Because I live in a world where I just have access to tens of thousands of dollars of high-tech equipment.
Don't think about it that way. It'll cause you a panic.
Yeah, it does.
You knit Jane's cunning hat from Firefly for your then boyfriend's robot's head.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a $12,000 robot.
With a knitted hat.
Yeah.
Super.
Oh, but it was so good for PR though. Like everybody wanted a picture with the robot with the little hat. It was so cute.
Darwin, they're the Darwin robots for the ones who did it. Those are just freaking adorable. I know
they're like teddy bear size. They're like they literally fit Build-A-Bear clothes.
They do. Because I know they were on the news and stuff for that Darwin stuff because that was the robot they taught to play soccer and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or hockey, one of the two. I think both in the end. Anyway,
soccer, hockey, ladder climbing, skiing.
Yeah. So I remember those robots, and I remember the competitions and stuff, and I remember that hat for those robots.
And then, of course, there was the matching human-sized hat. And, of course, we also had jerseys that matched the... We somehow managed to find Build-A-Bear shirts that matched the human jerseys that we had. And so, like, we had the full uniform and we matched our robots, and it was really cute. And Chris suspects that at some point during a competition in Korea, he got lightly insulted by one of the announcers in Korean, but he wasn't totally sure.
It was one of those ones where you have to sit there and think about it. And it could be, but you're not positive.
Well, I mean, the announcer was announcing in Korean, which he does not speak, but somebody translated for him after the fact, and apparently it was something to the effect of something about lonely men dressing like they're robots to have a friend or something.
Meanwhile, he's walking around like probably the hottest girlfriend on the whole convention floor, but sure, yep. Cool. Okay.
Well, I wasn't there, so he was alone.
He'll be fine.
Oh yeah, well, like, it was way after the fact. It was just like, wait, hey.
What?
Hey!
It's a good thing I wasn't there because I just would have started laughing at him. I'm a kind and caring human.
Oh, so funny. So funny.
So good. Okay, so how am I warm? The windows are open. It's these freaking filming lights. They're killing me. I will show you a pair of naked needles.
Okay.
Naked because I had started that Winter Lights shawl by Stephen West way back when it was actually a knit along and a thing you were supposed to be doing. Completely abandoned it in section 2 because I got the pattern half wrong halfway through and half right the other halfway through, and it didn't look good. Ripped it back and went, okay, I will pick this up again at some point when I'm not quite so grumpy with it, because I was not a happy camper. Hang on, I put my sharp scissors up somewhere high before I poke myself, because snips are painful, people.
Yes.
And I somehow managed to cut my foot on a perfectly smooth floor this week. So I don't know. I just don't know.
I learned that one can get a splinter from a strand of hair at some point.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah, so
All right.
you're not
So
alone.
that's fair. I was scrolling the Instagrams, as you do, and I ran across the Modern Skein, which is a shopping retail store with hand-dyed yarn down in, I have to look this up, Montgomery, Texas. So, local.
Mm.
We're on Central Time, same time zone. They were starting a Stephen West cow. I'm gonna do Zoom call chat check-ins every week, and I was like, oh, I love me a cow, so I totally joined in. I've already cast it on and ripped it out again because I messed up my cast on, which is nobody's fault but my own. So I am restarting my Winterlight shawl by Stephen West. My first 2 colors are going to be this gray Cascade and this, I think it might be the Antique Gold from Mad Tosh, but I'm not sure because it's a rescued skein. So I'm not entirely positive. So it's going to go main color, then this beautiful antique gold color, and then I'm going to put in this beautiful blue teal from Twisted Fae Fireworks, which I got from the only time we went to Knit City, because pandemic destroyed our plans for this time around, which has got a little bit of stellina in it, so there's some sparkle.
I love those colors.
And then my final color, and I can't hold all 4 at the same time because my hands aren't that large. But my final color is going to be a red.
I like this very much.
Like it's a really deep red, winey color. So it's going to be a little bit more muted than, say, if my main color was brighter, which happens with a lot of the Stephen West shawls. But I really, really liked it. I love the colors put together. I still really love the colors put together. So I am doing that. So tonight I have to recast on. My problem was I was casting on Thursday night while watching Critical Role after having done the first live stream, and it was a dramatic one. So I need to not try to do an I-cord cast on while obsessively watching a YouTube stream.
Yeah.
Because that did not go well for me. So that lives in my Ginger Snap bag, which is Halloween. Guys, I might love the holiday a lot. This one's got skeletons on it. Skeletons. So I'm going to recast that on this week because my next check-in is on Thursday, and I would really like to be past section 1 and into section 2 by Thursday. Don't worry, I've got stuff to distract me, so you've got a fair chance on this sweater we're doing. So that's the thing. So that's going on. But that was I didn't even think about it. I just ripped it out because I was like, this is wrong. And I'm like, wait a minute, I should have left it so I could have content. But whatever, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh well.
It's a thing that happens.
It's talking content.
I finished my shawl. Oh my god. It feels so good to say that.
Chat likes the colors too. They also think that the colors are amazing.
I love me a good strong color. No wonder I love Stephen West patterns. That man can do a good strong color.
Oh, he released a pattern recently. It was for a sweater that has a honeycomb pattern similar to the Winter Lights.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the body is like color blocked. The body shape is similar to the Glam Lamb that I did.
Oh, I liked that body shape.
Yeah, so that part's got color blocking, but then the sleeves are that honeycomb pattern. And I'm thinking I have a whole lot of minis and that I could just stripe in honeycombs down the sleeves.
Mm-hmm. That was exactly where my brain went.
Yeah.
My brain was in place. We might have to investigate that pattern.
So. Yeah. I don't remember what weight of yarn it was supposed to be.
I'm sure we can find that out. Yeah. A little Ravelry Googling won't do us any harm. So, yeah, so much knitting to do. So many crazy plans.
What part of the podcast are we at? What segment are we on?
We finished talking about what we were knitting, which means we're on the Wool of the Gathering.
Oh yeah, Wool Gathering. It's a Patreon.
Start us off with a really awkward Patreon sales pitch. Would
Yeah.
you like to tradition?
I have it on my to-do list to write a blurb for this. It's been on my to-do list for 2 weeks. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, well, there are many things in life I've had on to-do lists for a while that haven't happened, so it's fine. You're not alone.
If you would like to financially support these weekly shenanigans, you can do so by signing up for a monthly subscription at our Patreon, link in the description or in the show notes. Any tier will get you access to our Discord server and our weekly blog posts for Experimental Tuesday, wherein we cook something experimental.
I did eggplant bacon.
That sounds highly experimental. My plan is I'm doing cake this week because birthdays.
Yep.
So I'm doing a 2-ingredient apple coconut cake.
That is weird.
Like, the frosting has more ingredients than the cake.
That is hilarious. I'm for it. I want to see what happens. I did a full-on vegan brunch. So I did eggplant bacon, tofu scramble as a replacement for egg scramble. The toast was toast. I think I even said served with toast. I don't say anything about the toast. Then I did roasted potatoes in my homemade baked beans.
Dang, that sounds really good.
It was amazing. Also a pain in the butt because I had to stagger cook times so that it was all finished at the same time. But that's okay. I made it work. And not seriously disappointed in the eggplant bacon. Would try again with some changes.
Interesting. Eggplant bacon.
I know. Worked out better than I thought it was going to. And I am a hardcore turkey bacon fan.
Turkey bacon is good, but like turkey bacon is good, but it's not quite the same as pork bacon.
Nah, better than pork bacon. This is my molehill.
It's different. I will go with it's different.
Mine is turkey bacon. My poor dad, who can successfully buy and maintain a stock of turkey bacon so long as I'm not visiting. Because I'll just be like, hey, Mom, it's the middle of the week. I'm going to make turkey bacon and potatoes for lunch. It's not healthy, but it's what I want. My mom
there are far less healthy things.
Yeah, just for me, that's quite unhealthy. So, and I don't have turkey bacon in my house right now, which I'm sad about. I am not asking my brother-in-law to go to a separate grocery store just to buy turkey bacon. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It will wait until the pandemic is over and I can go on my own, or restrictions relax enough that my dad can come down and bring me to Saskatoon for a visit. And then in which case, it will be in the grocery store my parents go to. So it'll be fine.
Nikki Knits is requesting a link to a recipe for eggplant bacon.
Because I can absolutely give you some eggplant bacon recipes. I picked a really, really super simple one to do because I assumed not everybody on the planet has liquid smoke floating around their kitchen.
Not hard to find, actually. And it lasts forever when you buy it.
Yeah, but not everybody's going to have it or even know what it is. So
it is literally smoky water.
It is literally smoky water. So I picked one that didn't have liquid smoke in its flavor profile, but I did find a couple of other ones that sounded like they would be a better like bacony flavor, or a sort of, it's not bacon, but it's nice and crispy and fun to eat. So I will, I don't know where I'm going to post those. I will figure something out. Diana, can you write a note to remind me to do that? I'll forget. How am I going to do this? Awkward. Oh, you know what? I got stuff I got to talk with you about that's administration stuff at the end of this anyway. So, you know what? I may have a solution to that problem.
Oh, I can't spell. I'm not going to be able to read this note later, but it's there.
Okay, good. I have no overhead light. I just have this super bright shining in my face light. So it's too dark in reality for me to write notes right now.
Fair.
I can't see what I'm doing. All I can see is the light as I go to the light. So okay, cool.
I'm really appreciating the window and the reflective wallpaper and just the like general reflectiveness of this room. Like one light is good.
Super helpful. I am a little extra blind. It's fine. I didn't really need my vision to start with. I have been practicing actually on my half moon tea when I'm knitting at night, knitting with my eyes closed.
Ooh, how's that going?
Great. I'm the stockinette stitch and me are getting along just fine. The next step will be the purl stitch. See if I can do that. Because if I can do the 2 base stitches without ever looking ever, then I can do everything else. Because everything else is just a variation of knit or purl.
Yeah.
So, which is good because I absolutely, in this baggie here, put those 2 skeins of lace weight yarn to make the Winter on My Mind shawl.
Mm-hmm.
Tuck them in here because they're already wound. And I'd like to cast that on this summer if I have time. And I can't see fingering, so we know I can't see lace. So this will be my, can I knit a shawl from start to finish without seeing what I'm doing at all? That's my experiment this summer, I'm hoping.
That'll be a good experiment.
I think it'll be an amazing experiment. I also think I'm going to get really frustrated, mad, and probably end up ripping it out a bunch of times.
I maybe. It's an
But
experiment.
I can see worst, I can see DK, I can see sport. Fingering I'm starting to have trouble with, but for the most part, fingering I can feel and it's fine. From socks to shawls to now sweaters, I feel the stitch is fine, so that's fine. The next step is to start working in the lace, which I can't see at all. While I still have some vision. Because if I put it under a magnifying glass, I see it fine. I'm not going to knit through a magnifying glass. A, it would burn the battery out on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
B, it would distort my version of reality really hard.
Well, because there's a slight if you're using your phone as the magnifying glass, there's a very slight delay, right?
No, it's real time. And there's no distortions on the edges like you will get for magnifying glasses, so you can zoom in or zoom out. So I can change the variability of the magnification. So when I'm holding it up over an ingredients box, I really only need a 3x magnifier, which is not a base magnifier you can really just pick up at a local Canadian Tire. Like it's still slightly more specialized. But if I'm doing something like if I'm looking at my cross stitch or I'm looking at my knitting, I'm at like a 6x to 8x magnification, and those circles in physical magnification get smaller and smaller the higher your magnification requirements are. On your phone it doesn't because it's going through a camera app. So I really want to save up. It's a lot of money, but there's a very, very fancy electronic sort of tablet sized one that you can put over books or put over things, and it takes a real-time photo or it takes an image or you can see it, but it lets you reverse the colors, change font variations, and it looks at the whole page, but it gives you the size of magnification that you require. It's thousands of dollars, so I can't own it because assistive technology is not covered. If you're blind, you have to pay for all of it.
That's so stupid.
If we're honest, if I'm buying stuff that I might not super necessarily need, but super want, I want an Orcam My Eye. I want an Orcam My Eye so I can go to restaurants and read my own damn menus. I want that little bit of freedom back.
Yeah.
I want it so bad because I still can't go to a restaurant with a friend. I mean, I physically can't anyway, but in Manitoba, you're still restricted in restaurants and things to your household. Which means I can't go because I can't read menus and they're not accessible. And most restaurants aren't accessible because how many times have you had to help me figure out where the bathroom is?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they like to hide their bathrooms.
I mean, I had problems when I was sighted. Never mind now.
Fair. Oh, Asa very kindly looked up that Stephen West pattern that I was talking about. It is painting honeycomb in DK is the weight.
Really? Well, DK is that's like a fingering and a lace or a.
Well, I have a bunch of DK left over from my Comfort Fade.
Remember my brain just went?
What?
That's a 4mm to stitch gauge. It might just be fingering for Jocelyn.
And Nikki Knits was asking your light thing if it was the Ott light, or
for my setup lights?
Yeah.
No, I actually have a floor lamp and a clamp desk lamp with a 120 watt cool white bulb in all of them. right behind my computer. So I got a wall back here, then I got my computer, and then there's literally a screen dividing my room, like my main living room space, and then my dining room table on the other side. So, and then my couch is then my bedroom. So like it's one very long rectangle that I've sort of
Oh,
subdivided into
sorry,
spaces.
it was the thing you were thinking about getting, the fancy big tablety thing for
Oh,
magnifying.
possibly I'd have to go look up because I haven't looked at it in like 2 or 3 years, so I don't remember the name of it. Mostly because I get really annoyed with a lot of assistive technology because it is terribly antiquated.
You've
Terribly
got
antiquated.
some high tech '80s assistive tech.
Oh my god.
Okay, so the Ottlight is a separate thing from this thing.
Yeah. So I don't. It could be, but I'm not positive. I'd have to go look. It's one of those ones where it looks at, but I mean, it is very rare to find up to date technology that is assistant based. Like Audible is a godsend in more than one way. The interface, not like amazingly accessible. It's fine. I make do. It's not the end of the world. But my other option is a specialty made for blind people books, made on a Daisy system, I think it's called. And that's like looking at large print books versus regular books. Like if I had to read large print books and I didn't have Audible or if I didn't have digital and my vision loss had occurred sooner, I would, I think it was like in 2008 or something, Harry Potter finally came out in large font. So
Oof.
you can read Dan Brown or Westerns or Nora Roberts or like, but literally only the super big names. And only some of their books are ever put into large font. So like even the most base things, like go into your local library and go look for a large font section.
I remember I worked in a library a long time ago. It was like one of my first jobs, and the large font section was all westerns. I think it was legit just all westerns.
Are very common. Yeah, you're gonna cry, and it's the same with the Daisy system. Is incredibly limited. So like if you want to read, like really read, you can't. You can't. Same with Braille books. Same with other things. It's just it's incredibly limiting. So like a lot of my molehill fighting is to go. No, we shouldn't be putting our money into this. What we should be doing is investing to make Audible accessible. That's what we should be investing in because Audible is a business format. If we make it worth their while, they'll make it for us. If we want to give them our money, they will do things to correct stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's how companies work. That's where the consumer power lays. So I'm like, no, I want to give my money to companies that are just being accessible as a base format, where it's just everybody uses it. It just happens to also be accessible. It's like the dark vision, the dark fonts on stuff. Like you can make your Facebook
Yeah.
dark. I know that's a full-on web developer thing because you guys stare at screens all day long. The dark mode is easier on your eyeballs. Guess what? It's also better for contrast and makes websites more accessible. It's got nothing to do with going blind.
It's not even hard to design. Like for a hack days,
Yeah.
one time I made a dark mode on the thing that we were working on, just as like a silly thing to see if I could, and I put like 10 minutes of effort into it. I can't design worth crap. Like I'm not a designer, you should not let me design things. And I made a freaking cool looking dark mode and it took me 10 minutes to like figure out color contrasts.
I use Bing, which is like not Google. Do you know why I use Bing? Because it's dark all the way through. If you specify you want dark mode on Bing, it makes all of the web pages dark.
Nice.
Search
Ah.
results are dark. Every single web page they can force to be dark, they force to be dark. It just makes it easier for me to do stuff at all. It doesn't do it with all websites, but it does it with as many as it can, and I love it. So I Google things on Bing is what I do because I need the dark mode to function. Or my hard
What is
cap is
this?
4 hours
What
and
is
I can't
this?
do
What is
screens anymore.
what is
What are you
this?
doing?
It's
I don't know
it's
what.
just already broken.
What are you doing?
I just was knitting and it's just already broke. It's literally hanging on by a thread. What is this nonsense? Now I have to unknit several stitches so that I can tie it into a magic knot.
Well, I mean that happens with single ply. I'm assuming you're working on the Kingswing.
Yeah. This is just distressing.
Anyway, huge tangents you guys usually don't have to deal with because I cut those things out.
We're here for tangents today.
Crazy. So what do we have? We did Patreon, which means we're at the part where we start talking about the wrap up for the podcast anniversary.
Right.
We're in a knit along. I know you put it down because it's lace and you're frustrated because it's simple lace.
No, I put it down because I want to finish the sweater before it's too cold or too warm to wear the sweater. I figure I have the rest of the month to do the lacy thing, but I have like 2 weeks to finish the sweater.
Oh, we got some tight deadlines. Okay, it's a race. I'm here for it. I can do it. I have extra steps, so I really got a Hall Keister this week. For the podcast anniversary, we are celebrating 4 years of babbling at the internet. And we're doing that with the same way we do all of them, by making stuff together. It's fun, guys. This year was really easy. You still have the end of March, so if you are a fast knitter, you still have some time. If you're working on projects and you thought to yourself, dear heavens, I've got oodles of time, and you've put it down, you don't have quite oodles of time anymore. We started the 1st of January-ish, and we're going to end at the end of March-ish. I mean, we've never been super strict on deadlines.
We like ish. We're ish over here.
We're comfortable with ish. So until the end of the month, any project garment or adult-sized item that you have made that requires 2 or more skeins of yarn counts. The only other restriction included on this list is that it must be a new to you designer. Bonus points if it's a BIPOC designer, because really I need more of those people in my life. Please feel free to tag us on all of the social medias. We have a Facebook group. We are on Instagram, and we are on Ravelry. Thank heavens. Also comes to our rescue. She is our moderator on these formats. She is faster than we are at answering questions, which saves you guys a lot of wait time.
Moderators for the win.
I forget I have Facebook for like days on end. Okay, cool. That's a thing. It's the way it works. But we would love to see you guys on the social medias. You can either tag us directly with the @ Northern Knits Podcast. It shows up. I get excited. You can do it with the hashtag podcastiversary. No, I'm not entirely sure on the spelling. I had to go look it up this week, and that was like 3 days ago, and I've already forgotten. If YouTube is the only social media thingy that you do, drop down in the description box or the comments below and let us know what you're working on. We are perfectly capable and love to jump on the Ravelry at a drop of a hat to look up a pattern. Drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Made a project and gone, wait a minute, you got to see this thing, and we will stop and go look. Like magpies, it's the worst. So that is the thing that's going on. So comments in the YouTube, doing it on the Instagrams, chatting with us on the Facebook and Ravelry. We do get back to you. It just takes us a long time. The only thing I can't recommend doing is private messaging me on Ravelry, because I think I have like 90 some odd messages and I have no idea what's going on. I don't check it.
Okay, so don't Ravelry DM, but literally anything else.
Everything else is fine. I just never bother to look at Ravelry DMs. It's a thing. I don't find Ravelry accessible before the changes. Post changes, I find it very headache inducing, so I use it as little as possible. That's a personal problem I have with Ravelry. So that is all good. We'll wrap it up around the end of March. Don't worry, it is not the only knit along that we're going to do. We will be doing more knit alongs later on the year, because that's what I do to Diana. Not only do I just randomly join every knit along on the face of the planet that I find that I enjoy, or I'm interested in. Way too many of them are Cozy Up Knits, because I'm easily talked into things by Jamie. That is neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
But we do tend to host summer knit along, usually congruent with me participating in Stash Dash, and then we usually do a fall one. Summer one has already been settled on. The fall one, we're still bouncing ideas around on. Don't worry, Diana is almost always in the dark as everybody else is till I've made a decision.
I have an inkling of what the next one is.
You do, and that's the important part, because that's the one that's coming up next. But that's not cast on to like the 1st of July. We got time, guys. Don't worry about it. We're good. Other than that, the only things I have is I figured out a thing for the cross stitching that I'm trying to learn how to do, and I actually did some spinning this week. Who am I?
You actually did some spinning.
I did. Listen, we go wool gathering, and then we kind of just like drop in every other section that we have till we get to books. It's usually how it goes. I did not do a lot of spinning, but on my drop spindle, I have been working on my ultraviolet, which is from, oh my goodness, Hillary's Magical Yarnorium, which is no longer dying, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think she's, I don't know what she's doing now. I see she still posts on Facebook sometimes, but I don't remember what craft she's taken up, but it's not dying.
I don't remember, but it's not dying. So that is a very beautiful colored cotton candy pink to ultraviolet purple. And in my super sexy Ziploc bag, because it lives on my computer desk and I don't want my cat eating the fiber, it was a braid, and then I split the braid, and then I sort of made little bumps because I didn't want to work on like a huge massive, I wanted to be able to pick up a bump and go, right? So there was a hobby time on one of the Discord servers that I'm in, which is just a bunch of us Discord dudes. I'm not a dude. And some wives and stuff, and we get in and the boys usually work on models. I don't have any models to work on right now. I'd like to change that if I could. I am woefully low on Warhammer projects, which is not okay for me. I'm a little antsy, but I decided I wanted to chat and join in, so I spun. So I got through like 3 or 4 bumps while the boys worked on their models, and we chatted and made fun of each other and did things that boys do when they're crafting. So I've made slow progress. It's always slow with my drop spinning because I make art yarn when I'm drop spinning, so I tend to have thicker bits and thinner bits, and I want it that way. So it forces you to think about how you're spinning each section and change up your tension as you're spinning. So, and drafting, which makes it interesting, and I enjoy it, but I'm not very fast at it. I know I will get faster with practice. It's like everything else on the planet. You get better the more you do, because you get better the more you do. Practice makes perfect. My teenage self has had to apologize to my parents so much in the last few years. And I know it'll be really hard to tell, but I've got some thin sections, I've got little thicker sections, and I am almost consistently inconsistent.
I mean, it looks pretty consistent from here, but
yeah, it's a little bump in there. So once this is done, I will probably leave it as a single ply, and then I think I'm going to chain ply it when I'm finished. But I want to get more onto here before I pull it off onto my spare bobbin and then leave it to rest. So, but I'm going to try to spin the whole thing in the one go. I don't know if it'll work because that's starting to get a little heavy, but whatever. If I end up splitting it in 2, it'll be 2 ply. We'll find out when we get there, guys. It is what it is. What was the other thing I was going to talk about? My cross stitch. We have fancy titles for these sections. I don't ever remember what they're called.
Spinning was spinning yarns. We haven't had one of those in ages.
I find spinning comforting. I just need to do it more often.
We don't have a title for cross stitch.
It's probably because it's still one of those ones that you haven't picked it up yet, so we don't have a reason to name it yet. Okay, so I got a kit last fall from the Witchy Stitcher, which is this really, really cool little Grim Reaper, and he says killing it. Tell me that's not a retro video game.
I love the dark humor of that. It's very Undertale.
Yep. It is my sense of humor. I know that is not everybody's sense of humor, but it is decidedly my sense of humor. So what I have been looking at and trying to do is the stitching, and I haven't actually done any stitching to it because I've been playing around with trying to see what is going on. So you get in the kit everything you need to make the pattern. You get your thread, or floss as it's called. In my case, it's just a basic DMC floss, which is fine. A needle, which is, it's blunt. Guys, it's not actually meant to really like pierce the fabric because there's holes in your fabric. Little holes in your fabric. Like there's nothing to show you guys. Like I've been fiddling around trying to figure out how to do it. But what I've discovered is I don't have a light box, which I might have to catch, but I can't really manipulate this plus my magnifying app on my phone, even if it's on a tripod, and figure out how to use the needle to do the stitches, which was like, okay, that would be the easiest way to do it for me, because then it's the size I need. I can blow it up so I can see that there's holes in the fabric. Like I can feel that they're there, but I can't see them. That wasn't going to work. So it was very awkward, and very quickly my wrist started to hurt, my back started to hurt. So it's not a situation that was going to work for me. But what I'm going to do is something that Caroline does. She's Off the Grid Needleworks and a Fiber Friend member. She does it in reverse. So she has her front inside, which I think she said is called stitching in the well. Oh, what I'm hoping, if I do it in reverse, what I can do is then, again, using my very bright studio lights that I use, I can see over my glasses, not under my glasses, which tells you my bifocal prescription is off and I need to go get that corrected this year. I can see that the fabric is grid worked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my right and reverse sides so that this excess fabric, which I've been having problems with, is part of my hand holding down. And I'm going to stitch it in reverse so that I am also cross stitching in the well, but giving me a more stable surface to hold on to. And then it's easier for me to feel on the back of my work where I need to be putting my needle in. Because again, a lot of it's going to be by touch. It's also going to be really weird because I'm literally going to be sitting like this. So like my posture is going to be great, but my arms are going to go numb. So I don't feel like this is a super long-term solution to my problem, is
Well,
knitting like this.
I've seen people have these clampy arms for embroidery that they clamp their embroidery onto, so you can put it on your desk and adjust it to whatever height you need, and you could put a light under it.
That's what I'm thinking. So if it works like this, which is super awkward and cheap, Jocelyn will then invest in a lamp, in a light table, which I've honestly needed for a while anyway, and a clampy dude, because we all use technical terms on this podcast, and then I should be able to cross stitch. So I'm still puzzling it out. I'm still working at it bit by bit. My hope is to be able to do it because they're so pretty and I really like it, and I just need to make it achievable. So I need to figure out how to make it accessible.
Susanna's suggesting trying with larger or fabric with larger holes.
Yeah, you can get Atta with larger. I think this is like an Atta 14 or something. Atta 14 or Atta 12. It says in the kit, not that I remember. So I've been fiddling around with that. But let's be honest, guys. My goal isn't to work in an Atta in a large thing with multiple threads. I want to get down to the stupid, ridiculous, tiny, medieval, heavily embroidered, strongly historically orientated big projects, because nothing about that screams anything other than a migraine to me. So clearly that's what I want to make. Do I want to make really nice, light, fluffy No, I don't want to make nice fluffy samplers. I don't want to cross stitch cottages or birds. I want off color, not for everybody humor, and I want like the damask super heavy tapestry floor rug patterns.
You want you want the kind of stuff where the monks have doodled penises in the corner and like jousting snails and
yes.
Okay.
That is very me. It's my style. It is my aesthetic. The birds are pretty. The flowers are gorgeous.
For some reason.
Oh,
no. Oh, I think we're back.
Are we back?
I think we're back. Okay, we're good. We're good. I don't know what happened there.
It happened. So, like, my ultimate goal is to start on the Atta 14, but I want to make my way to finer grades, which means I absolutely need to figure out how to transfer the pattern to the fabric. So I can pre-draw in where I need to be that isn't pencil, because I can't see pencil. And then give myself quadrants to work from so that I've got sort of, so I need to be able to break it down so it's paint by numbers somehow.
So a washable fabric pen, probably?
Probably. This might be my best bet. So, or like a really fine tip ink pen in the same color for the darker stuff, and then just use that as my grid work spacings. So I want to do that. And there's other things, but I need, first step is to figure out if I can do it, which is why we got the small little kit. The Witchy Stitcher is Canadian, so I was super happy to give her my mother's money because we ordered a kit for my mom, and I never got around to figuring out how to do it while I was at my mom's house. So hopefully I can figure it out before I go back. We'll see how that works for me. And then go from there. It won't, if I'm able to figure it out, she's going to get a lot of my money because I love her humor and design aesthetic. It is Halloweeny. It is oft colored. Jocelyn wants Baba Yaga's house. Like there's just, it's fits into the niche that is my world very happily. I know it's going to look weird. I'm going to have things like don't go outside, it's too peoply out there. next to my medieval cross-stitch patterns in frames by my anime photos with my stuffed dinosaurs. I make sense.
Chat was weighing in. Light table sounds perfect.
I'm thinking that
Sherry
might
says she has that clamp thing and got it with a coupon from Michaels. Apparently the cloth is pronounced Ada, not Ada.
Ada? Okay. I'm gonna do it wrong all the time, guys. We know I'm gonna do it wrong all the time.
That's what you come here for, right? Is proper pronunciations.
My pronunciation skills.
Sherry was also suggesting, what about stamped cross stitch?
That which again, that's because they put the pattern on with the stamp, right? It'd be finding ones that have ones I want to make, which isn't always the case. So,
Fair.
Just fine. I've just got to figure out how to adapt it. But there's other ones because again, Caroline keeps talking about a floor-sized one, which is for obviously larger projects, and I'm not there yet. So I'm also gonna have to keep that in mind. Like if I get to the point where I'm making something that large, I'm gonna have a very large frame. I like the idea of like lap or floor ones, so I'm taking the weight off of everything because I obviously stress out my wrists and my hands just by living, and then add in all the craft work, and that's not going to help me at all. So I gotta keep that in mind when I'm doing stuff too. That I'm going to have to be able to either get close because it's on a lamp. I mean, if it's on a floor base, I just put a lamp underneath it. Ta-da! Light base. That part is easy to figure out. It was the more mobile ones that I was a bit problematic with. So hopefully that works. I'm going to give it a try this week. Obviously, that has to happen first thing in the morning when my vision's at its absolute best because I've just gotten up and haven't used it yet for the day. Not an option for evening crafting for me. Well, it'll be a weekend morning only sort of craft that I can do because I'll have to have the absolute best I can do. And some days I won't be able to do it all because my focus is absolute snot. But we did puzzle out some stuff, so I wanted to talk about it because I don't mention it very often. Mostly it's been seas of frustration. But I want to learn because it's pretty.
The local sewing place has some embroidery cross stitch. I don't remember. Anyway, they were dinosaurs. There were dinosaur kits.
What?
Yeah, and I'm like, I might need that.
Yup.
Seriously, I think I need to be friends with the lady that runs the fabric store here.
Yes.
Because
why aren't you friends with the lady who runs the fabric store? Why have you not just channeled your inner Jocelyn and become friends with them? I need to be friends with the lady at your local fabric store.
Well, because my only interaction with her, besides the one time that I went to pick up stuff, which was like 30 seconds because COVID.
Yeah. I mean, right now, what are you going to do about it? So
yeah. But the way she writes her weekly newsletters and her fabric choices are just like, we are kindred spirits. We must be friends. We think the same way. Like, she got really excited about some fabric with bread painted on it, or like bread print. Yeah. I think it was sweatshirt fabric with bread print. I don't know what you'd make with sweatshirt fabric printed with bread, but she had this whole paragraph of bread puns talking about this bread fabric, and like, we need to be friends.
She's you. You need to be friends. Obviously, you make bread printed sweatpants.
I think so.
With elastic waistbands in them, because you'll be eating a lot of bread in those sweatpants.
Yes.
Because they're your bread sweatpants. That's what you wear when you eat bread. It's not how that works.
I think this is how that works, actually. Pardon me, I need to go buy some bread fabric.
Yep. Oh, so good. All right. But that's it. That's my super out there tangent on those things. Audible.com would like me to know I have a credit for the month. Ooh. I've already bought 3. I might buy 3 more this month, guys. I spent my birthday money on Audible credits and very boring adult stuff. Super happy. I like dried organic fruits and stuff because I can eat them. They don't have dextrose on them. But it makes them not cheap. Because they're organic. Gerber. Fine.
Somehow organic means not covered in corn. Okay.
Well, they put it's like putting phosphates into them to help them maintain their color, which means obviously we've got a friend who can't have sulfates. She can't have sulfates. He can't have dried fruit unless it's organic because then they don't put the sulfates in. But the other thing that they do is they will coat with a light dusting of dextrose, which is corn sugar, over the fruits to keep them from sticking, which makes them more visually appealing and a touch sweeter, so people will buy them. I obviously can't do that because I can't have dextrose.
I just had this visual of like washing dried fruit.
That's not gonna work.
No, that just sounds so unappetizing.
It's not gonna work. So I just buy the organic and the brands that I really, really like. I have to order in because they're just not available in the city. So there's a minimum quantity for ordering, which is fair. I tend to not want to do it unless it makes sense for the shipping and the packaging that are coming, because you need to be aware of this stuff. So I did that. So I ended up dropping like $60 on dried fruit essentially. It's fine.
Why
It'll be
not?
dry for 3 months or so. So it means I can have them in granolas. I can have it as a snack. I can make, whatever out of them. I can make random fruitcake for no reason. I got options.
Nikki Knit says, if this were an episode, it would be called Bread in Sweatpants.
Bread and it would actually. That would be a title we would contemplate giving it.
Yep.
It's my life. Oh, that's it. That's my extra random crafting that I always kind of throw in everywhere.
Yeah, I have no extra random crafting. I organized my office. There's look at the lack of boxes. There's a book in the way still, but there's my sewing space. I organized everything. There's still too much stuff on the countertop that needs to be filed properly, but it's all out of its boxes, and there's not a pile of boxes on the floor, and like I have an actual sewing space.
All of this, and then it just gets higher on the other side of the sewing machine where you can't see it. How am I gonna finish
that? I'm lying a little bit. I have one more box that I've just pushed out of frame. It's one box, not like 8 boxes.
One is a lot better than 8, which is great. I reorganized my closet this week and bedrooms, so that consumed a lot of my makeup table, which alone took 3 hours.
Oof.
I know, because I timed it to see how long it would take me. 3 hours. That hurt. I got rid of a bunch of stuff. You can't tell. It's just covered in makeup stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. That's what happened. I did remember that we completely forgot to mention a Wool Gathering, that the next Patreon e-knitting is going to be happening sometime this month.
March the 20th.
Is it the 20th?
It'll be the 20th.
I don't remember. We had a debate, me and Louise, on when the first Thursday of April was. That's the first. And that took us a while to figure out when that was happening. It also took a while for us to figure out when Easter weekend was. And I remember looking at a calendar before we started chatting.
Wow.
I have no power for dates, you guys. Not good. So, because because I remember we mentioned in the last podcast that me and Louise were going to do monthly check-ins to help encourage FOs, just outside of our regular. Because I know you and me are like deadlines, and I love me an arbitrary goal. So Louise is hoping to finish off some of her 50 new starts she did last year, and I'm hoping, to get some stuff off my plate, because I've got some huge projects I need to break down into like literally achievable monthly goals to get them done. Here's hoping it works. By the way, my goal for April, one of them was to have the freaking King's Flame published. That is a goal. Still many steps to go. Just one step closer now. All right. I suppose that leaves books, doesn't it?
I believe that's just books, yeah.
Books. I read this week, unlike last week.
I'm so close to being done. 100,000 Kingdoms.
Ooh.
I stayed up so late reading last night. I'm like, I want to keep going, but I'm literally reading the same sentence 6 times, so I better sleep.
That is a call to go to bed. I'm gonna open up the super monstrous, not handy Goodreads. That is really the only thing you can use. And we'll go from there.
I wonder if Goodreads has an API that one could make an external, just like a front end for.
I think it's one of those ones that a lot of booktubers complain about because there are issues with the ranking system. There's issues with how it's formed, but it is really the only like huge database.
Yeah, like their databases.
So we're sort of like forced to use it because we have no other options, like no other better options for it. So like everybody has one, but your love or hatred of Goodreads kind of goes up or down, varying on a scale depending on how much you have to interact with it. I'm not overly fond of it, but it is a decent archival record keeping system, so I use it for that.
Yeah. It's a little bit old and clunky.
Which is weird considering it was bought by Amazon ages ago. You'd think they'd update it since the 90s, but they've not really done a lot.
No. The app in particular, you open it and you have to like wait 5 seconds for it to load, not even the page that you want,
It's not
and you don't have a choice about it.
it's not good. All right. I went back to Anita Blake this week. Side note, the next Tome Topple starts on the 16th. So this is my last free week, and I need to decide my TBR for 500 plus book pages or more, hence why I bought book credits this month. So I need to iron out my reading for the Tome Topple, so I might not be super heavy reading till the 16th, and then 16th it's obviously binge reading 500-page books. And I, of course, always pick stupid high goals, like 5 books in 2 weeks or something. However, we're not there yet. So I was like, cool, I'm going to binge on Laurell K. Hamilton for a bit. And I've now started the last book that Libby and my local library have until the newer ones. There's like a gap of like 10 books or something that the library doesn't have on Audible format. I'm like, hey, okay, cool. So I'll have to figure out a place to source those. I like Audible best. I can do it on digital, it'll be fine. So I read The Killing Dance by Laurell K. Hamilton, which was book something or other. Book something or other. Quick, what number are we? I read more after that. But what number is this one? I don't know. Number 6. So The Killing Dance is number 6. I read that one and finished that one. This is a reread for me, guys. Burnt Offerings, which would be number 7. I like Burnt Offerings. That's always a one I enjoy reading. And we're not even at 4. We're 392 pages at this point per book on average. The books get bigger the farther into the series you go, and there's 28 of them. And that was 7. And then I started Blue Moon, which is what I'm currently working on right now, which has 418 pages, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through. And Blue Moon itself is number 8. So 9 through something are not available through my local library on Libby, so I got to figure out something for that. And then the later ones I already own because I listened to them on Audible. So I got to figure out how I want to divvy up the rest of the series for it. So doing on that one. But the books definitely get larger the farther into the series you go. So I'm at book 8 of 28. So there's only 20 more to go.
Erin says she started Burnt Offerings this morning.
Yeah, I like Burnt Offerings. I find it quite amusing. Not for everybody, but I find it quite amusing.
I think I might have to figure out if I can track down to my local library to actually get my library card here set up so I can like actually take things out of the library. I did the online get a library card thing, but then the portal for changing your password the first time you log on was broken. It's like, that was when we were still in lockdown though, so we're out of lockdown now, so I might actually be able to go to the library.
That'd be exciting.
Yeah.
They opened up swimming pools finally. I can go swim lanes.
Ooh.
I mean, I can't, but people can.
It is a thing that some people can do.
That some people can do. So I'm very excited to see that happening. I worry that the numbers will go up again, but whatever. Apparently, it's too much to ask, so we can't do it anymore. All right. I'm not in charge of how other people choose to live their lives. I am only in charge of how I choose to live mine.
Sadly.
So that's a thing. So I don't know. I'm happy and excited. I hope you can get your library card situation sorted out. You have no idea how stoked I was because I was having such trouble renewing mine online. I got a call from one of the librarians in the downtown office. She was helping me out and doing things, and then she remembered that she knows me. She's seen me come through with my cane and my white winter coat. Yeah, that's me. So I finally got it all sorted, but it took a real person on the phone because I had done something bad to the computer system, not unusual for me. So
somehow, yeah, you're magical. Should really get into QA testing.
I probably would do really good with QA testing.
You just have to be able to reproduce it reliably.
Well, just put anything through an accessibility function, and yeah, I can make things break the same way quite regularly.
Then you just have to unbreak it enough to write a report.
Which I can't do. So there's limits to my skill sets. Limits to my skill sets. So that's it for me in books. I've just been reading and sort of pondering my TBR because there's a couple of bigger books that I have. Like I want to read the second in the Walking Fire series. I've got the second book in the Black Prism series. Like there's a lot of series that I'm working my way through, but I don't know if those are what I'm in the mood to read this time around, or if I should just sort of nosedive into other people's TBRs and see what they're reading and see if something catches my eye. I don't know. And I've got, I don't know, what, 6 days, 7 days, 8 days? I've got a number of days before I have to be fully ready to go. I'd like to do the Instagram photo challenges again. I fail at them every round, but I enjoy the prompts. So I feel like maybe I'll try again.
I'm at the point where I need to find the next book in the 100,000 Kingdoms series.
Yeah, it's a good series.
How many books are in this series? What have I signed up for?
Just 3.
Okay.
It's a trilogy. You're fine.
Okay. Yeah. I really gotta find, I'm at the point where I need to find the next 2, because I'm just gonna read a lot. Because it's like, but.
And you need to know more. The story's not done. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I also think you need to read the City of Brass by Eno S.A. Chabursky, that name that I can't pronounce.
City of Brass, that sounds familiar.
I read it a while ago, but again, it does the same sort of thing. It's very adventure themed orientated, but starts in Egypt and goes east. So
okay, I've definitely not read that. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
So it's definitely going to expose you to different mythology, different gods, different magic systems, and still a really freaking good story. So,
like, I'm into it. That seems to be my thing right now. I'm super into fantasy. Again, I've come back around to fantasy after being in sci-fi for a long time.
That's fine.
But I'm super into fantasy, not European based.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying that.
It's
a whole new world.
For years. Not a problem. I mean, I also think you would enjoy Witches Be Crazy, which is just a play on all of the fantasy tropes on the planet. You're just like, what now? Super fun to read. I may reread it. It's like Gork, the Teenage Dragon. They're just fun. It's just good to play with your brain and what you expect things to be so very much.
What's chat talking about?
Who knows?
Nikki's getting a bunch of knitters for her sock patterns.
Yeah.
Also was saying that numbers have exploded there, so they're looking at an even stricter life. But Susanna says their libraries are open.
I hate it when cities do not close down when they need to. Because if you need to, you need to. And I do strict closing down. Not this mamby-pamby kind of close down, but not really. Like, close down. The faster you do it, the faster you're out of it. Just like anything else.
Yeah.
And then I hate when they prioritize opening things like restaurants and bars and pubs over public libraries.
I get why, because they're trying to like make it so the small businesses aren't dying, but I don't know if that's probably not the best way of doing it.
It's a wrong focus, socially speaking. It's the wrong focus. So, but we've been wrong focused for generations now, so it's a thing.
Yay, capitalism!
I spent 2 hours yesterday falling down a rabbit hole with people complaining that we had pockets in our dresses till post-Victorian period. So the no pockets in women's clothing problem is literally a late 20th, 21st century problem.
God, I hate actually pockets. So stupid. So stupid. Women's pants. I have such a rant. I bought 2 pairs of jeans because I was talking about my jeans earlier. I bought a men's pair of jeans and a women's pair of jeans. The men's jeans you can get by waist and inseam. And those are actually just the inches that your body is.
Yes.
And they have pockets that I can fit up to like my wrist.
Yes.
I can stick my hand in there up to my wrist.
Yep.
Wonderful. These women's pants that I'm currently wearing, I can get them the pockets are bigger than average. I can get up to like all of my knuckles instead of just 2 of them. And they're just a mysterious size 29.
Yeah.
No measurement on me is 29.
Yep.
What is a 29? Why can't I have pockets?
I'm just saying, we're dressing in the wrong decade. We just need to go to wearing Victorian clothes.
I do like trousers, though.
You can wear trousers.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. I do kind of love the like late 1700s, I think, like the dandy aesthetic where it's like masculine-ish, but it's just so frilly. I love it.
Wear that. We're not in the 17th century. No one's going to tell you can't wear pants. You want to be a dandy. Learn how to sew so you can make your own dandy clothes.
I know.
I want walking skirts. Damn it.
I also want walking skirts.
But then again, I know how much of a pain in the butt it's going to be to make one long enough for me, because then I would want the matching tailored vest and then the blouse, which requires proper undergarments, and then I'm hand sewing lace for months. So I'm aware of how much work I want, but they're going to happen. I know it's going to happen.
Yeah, and then you'll have it forever.
I will, because it'll be handcrafted and made of good stuff, so it won't fall apart in 6 months. It'll be fine. But I mean, right now it's the corset. Like if I can get the corset figured out, that will change my shape and how I wear my clothes, because obviously it'll change where my lines are and what's going on. Yeah. Like that'll force some changes in my clothing habits. I'm never getting rid of my maxi dresses and my deep V's. I'm wearing a deep V today. I'm quite comfortable with a deep V, but I do want to have some other neckline shapes and stuff. So, but that's part of making it from scratch in my hand and taking forever. I will wear this all the time with capris or with, my shorter skirts. That's fine. I'm not going to stop wearing shorter skirts, but I want to get to the point where the stuff in my wardrobe, outside of my very comfortable, super stretchy, synthetic base t-shirts and stuff, are made by me. Because I don't want to sew that stuff. Knitwear is a pain to sew. I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it.
I've been craving some high-low maxi skirts recently. Yeah. I think I need to. I can get some bread printed fabric and make skirts.
Yes, because that's totally your design aesthetic. We were doing this earlier this week where we were exchanging shoe designs, and your choices in pretty shoes are not mine.
I'm not sure if I would wear the Disney shoes, but like in my head I would. I don't know if I actually would, but in my head I would.
I know I wouldn't, because Disney shoes are not my thing. The super printed flats are not, I don't find them attractive. I wear them because I can't.
So cute.
Okay, super huge segue, guys, because I cleaned out my closet. My walk-in closet had all of my well cared for, heavily curated heels that I was still able to wear up to the last time I broke my toe. It didn't heal right this time. Like the third or fourth time I've broken my big toe, guys.
You gotta stop doing that.
I gotta stop doing that. But yeah, it's not like I didn't know that this was a possibility, because it was a possibility each time. And it's not like I had my 4-inch stilettos anymore, or any of my bar hopping shoes like those. It all gone, because they were all just costumey shoes. They weren't really good anyway. But I had my good stacked T-strap Mary Janes, and I had my beautiful low kitten-heeled pointy-toed cream white shoes with a little bow on the front. So really freaking pretty heels. I had my tweed pumps with the round toe and the buckle on the front.
Ooh.
Really pretty shoes. Thankfully, my niece is this lady's size 10 foot, which is my size foot. So she's going to try them on and see if she likes them or not. Because if she likes them, but she's not used to wearing them, then we'll keep those. And because odds are good, she's probably done growing in fit sizes. So if she is, then she can have them for later when she wants to wear them. They'll still be in good condition if we take care of them. But I have to get rid of them, which was super painful. It's like heart-wrenchingly painful. Dinah's like, flats are cute. Thanks, Diana. That's exactly the response I needed to that.
Sorry. I was just trying to be helpful.
It's fine.
Flats are flats in the world.
There's nothing wrong with flats. They are not sexy. They're not sexy. They are practical. They can be cute. They're not sexy. No.
Yeah, okay.
There's nothing wrong with them, but that does not mean they fit into the category of shoe I have had to give up now.
Yeah, okay.
It's fine. There's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is, and it's done. So you got to move on, or be buried in your history. I'm not going to be buried in my history. I'm not going to be buried in my history. It's a thing. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That was my shoe rant. I had to have a shoe. We've talked about books. We've talked about everything else.
Oh, related to books, Lisa wanted to know the book that we were talking about that started in Egypt and heading east. That was City of Brass?
City of Brass by S.A. Chakrabarty? C.A. something. Hang on, I find it. I'll open up the app that doesn't take forever to open up, but heavily uses the internet. That's Audible. I'm gonna scroll. Oh my goodness, you need to listen to The Sea in the Sky.
Okay.
That's the science fiction mini.
Yeah.
That one.
All right. I guess I'll get on that. I really want to finish the one that I already have on the go before I pick up another one.
I know, with what time, and I keep throwing more books at you.
I know. It's the curse of the TBR. It grows faster than one can ever reasonably read.
S.A. Yep, I can't pronounce this, but I can spell her last name for you guys. It's C.H.A. maybe K.R.A.B.O.R.T.Y. There's only 3. So you're not signing on to like a 28 book series. I wouldn't do that to you guys. That would be, mean.
Lisa says thank you.
No problem. And the first one is The City of Brass.
Sounds so... Why do I feel like I've read a book with that title? It's not the book that you described, but I read a book that was City of something metallic.
Ooh, Sherry's commenting in the Discord there. Thanks, Sherry, for giving me those deets on that Clampy thing. It's because you see things like City of Brass, Country, like Brass, something of Brass is not an unheard of title. Like you get it around every once in a while. I think there's even one that's like by a well-known young adult author. It's also got brass in the title. It sticks out because how often do you use the word brass in title? So the few times you run across it, it'll sort of stick in your brain.
There was a series that was like City of Brass, City of Iron, City of Gold or something.
Absolutely a series like that. I just don't remember the name of the author.
Oh.
I'm not that good.
What do you mean you don't just like instantly know every single book I could possibly think of at any given moment?
There's like, in a year, we publish more than 100,000 books. What? I can't.
But who's gonna be my book encyclopedia?
Go to Goodreads. It's the only source we have, people. Just learn to deal with it. Till somebody makes something better.
It just needs a better front end. The back end is fine. The database is beautiful. It just needs a better interface.
It has a very bad interface. Also, if it could link to something other than Amazon, I mean, it never will because it's owned by Amazon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I need to make that concession that the company that owns it wants it to link to their other things.
That's fine. That doesn't offend me that much. You get rid of the flippin' awful rating system. That'd be great.
So what's so bad about the rating system?
Well, you have 1 through 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do it if it's a half star or quarter star or it's not precise? It's not precise and it's not accurate. And if it's not precise and it's not accurate, it's misleading. Because rather than, which I just remove the rating system all told, just take it out. So if you want to read a book and you want to rate a book, you just have to review the book. So people aren't getting that, well, it's 4 out of 5 stars, but what does it tell? Like, it doesn't tell me what you rank as a 4-star. It's just a popularity voting contest, which I'm not. But if you have to write a review that tells me what you thought of the book, which tells me how you value things. So say, you read a book, but you absolutely hate it. Any even remotable inconceivable time there is no LGBTQ+, which there should be more of in books. In that specific book that you read, that's why you gave it 2 stars. Okay, that tells me what kind of books you like to read. It gives me an insight into the person who's doing the ranking. But most of the time, you just make the star ranking and you don't write the review.
Mm.
How
Okay.
did you
Okay.
value that star? It's like I do it all the time. And for me, a 3 out of 5 is just an average book. It's neither here, it's not there. It's not worth my time to review because I didn't think enough of it to bother. But you only get a 1 star if I don't finish. You get a 2 star if I finish, but I think to myself, my God, what have I done with my life? That was boring. But I mean, like a 4 or 5 star, okay, I'm reviewing those ones. Or it's a reread and I haven't bothered to because it's a reread. It's a series I know I already enjoy. But that doesn't tell anybody coming from the outside who doesn't know me how I value that and how I value that star system because there's no way to anchor it in anything other than people's perceptions. So
it's just sort of arbitrary, is your argument?
it's an arbitrary popularity contest.
Okay, fair enough.
Really not good. I mean, that doesn't tell you if a book's good or bad. It just tells you whether or not people like the cover and they bought it. Insert rant about 50 Shades of Grey here.
Oh dear.
Heavens knows I've made Diana suffer through before.
Yeah, I'm good just never ever reading that one. That's fine.
Do you want to read a good one? I have book suggestions for you. Not that nonsense.
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. I read Twilight. I don't need to read the fanfic based on it.
I thought the book was hilarious. I thought all 3 of the Twilight books were hilarious. Thoroughly enjoyed reading them. Hated the movies. Hated the movies.
The books were
Books were delightful. The books were so. Oh, I knew teenage girls like that. Yeah,
so
totally,
really.
totally. Oh
It was just.
yeah. Take out the vampire and the werewolf aspect, you have a teenage girl with her first crush. It's just beautiful, beautiful, so funny, so funny. I liked it.
My problem, I would like they were okay. My big problem was like the ending where they spent the entire book building up to this huge set piece battle, and then they decided not to have it happily ever after the end.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a lot of modern books anyway.
Oh, but I wanted the big set piece battle. I wanted characters to die. I wanted heartstrings pulled. I wanted to have some feels.
Characters dying in any form of media is not as well done as it should be.
Like there should have been some consequences, and there weren't.
Consequences? Are you crazy? Not in fiction.
I wanted consequences.
In your fiction romance novel.
Yes, I wanted some consequences.
Have you met fiction romance novels?
Yes, I wanted some consequences, okay? Alright, at the time that I was reading them, no, I had not read any others, probably.
Because I mean, like, now you've read enough, you gotta understand that that's not really how that works.
Okay, okay.
Just fair. Oh, I'm sure I've got people adding at me in anger about my theory. I also didn't like the Outlander series, so there you go. It is what it is.
I like the Outlander series, but I can never seem to get past like halfway through the second book or the second season. Like there's just this point where I just lose interest and I don't know why. I've tried both twice.
I couldn't finish book 1. I couldn't finish book 1, and I will read some seriously bad stuff. So I really didn't like it. I made it through most of the TV series before I went, and I'm bored. And stopped watching. But that's normal for me in TV series. So that's not really saying much about the TV series because I abandoned TV series like crazy. I go, I still haven't watched the last season and a half of Game of Thrones. I'm never sure I ever will.
You can skip the end of Game of Thrones. It was not good.
I read the books. The books were great.
Yeah. It's when the show ran out of books to turn into show, then it was not good.
Not good.
The ending was just.
I have some serious adaptations on things, so. Read the books. They're almost always better.
People haven't read 50 Shades. Susanna has not read 50 Shades or Game of Thrones. Sherry hated 50 Shades. Nikki wants to read Game of Thrones. I might hate it when I get into it, but I don't know. I have plans.
It is. It is a classic epic fantasy, so don't try to do it all at once because it gets.
I really enjoyed the Game of Thrones series, and the show up to the last 2 seasons is fantastic. A fantastic adaptation, I think.
I thought the people on the show were pretty, and I liked the costumes, but
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed both. The last 2 seasons were just so bad. Suddenly everybody can fast travel, and the characters that have survived this long by being smart are suddenly the dumbest bag of bricks, and
I don't TV well. I don't TV well. And I'm just not good at it. If it was made after the year 2000, odds are good I probably haven't seen it. Never mind to know what's going on. Unless it happens to be like Dancing with the Stars. My mom keeps me up on some reality TV stuff. The Masked Singer. But even my mom had to get me to sit down to watch the new Jumanjis that have The Rock in them. And she knew I was going to like them. And I still put it off till I went to go visit her. And she's like, no, we're watching it. They were great. I thoroughly enjoyed them.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll actually watch those.
Oh, Jack Black playing a teenage girl. You're welcome.
Okay, I'm into it.
You're welcome. I may honestly rewatch those. It doesn't stick in my brain. I'm just not that interested in it. So that's what it is.
Well, I'm out of tea.
I'm out of miso soup, out of ginger ale. It's time to make tea and go find my cake. I don't know where to put my piece of cake.
I think my hands are demanding a knitting break, so it might be time to make a hot beverage and go for a walk because it's a beautiful sunny day.
I feel like I need to figure out where the monster is because I suspect she's getting into trouble. She's been very, very quiet while we did this. So something's wrong. Something's gone wrong.
And you'll find a huge puddle of water and just no source for it.
I got a new water fountain for her, so she can't access all of her water all at once.
Nah.
Doesn't like it.
She can't play in her water anymore?
Which I love because I hate cleaning up water off the floor all the time. She is not as excited about. Totally fair. So I've got more organization stuff to do, and I got yarn for morning. Like there's things going on here, people. But we're done. We're good.
I think we're good.
We're caught up in the chats.
People are talking about books and movies and
Everybody has
while watching books and movies.
And all opinions are valid. It doesn't mean
an opinion by definition cannot be wrong.
It doesn't mean you gotta voice it. There's a difference.
People are also free to have different opinions.
Yeah, that's fine. You think the Expanse TV show is good? Weird.
Okay, but you just said you hate a lot of TV, so you know what?
I also hate really badly done TV, and I read the books. The books are amazing. The books are wonderful. If they'd done the TV show properly, it would have been a decent TV show. They did it badly. The bad TV show.
The space battles with the proper physics
doesn't mean that they did it properly.
But the space battles with the proper physics.
They did it properly.
I think they made the show for the nerds that are interested in the space battles with the proper physics.
Well, yeah, because if you made it to tell a really good stories, which is what the Expanse series is a really good stories that also happen to involve space battles with proper physics, it would be a great TV show. People would love it. They would rave about it. But it only fits into the decent because they did a lot of cheap TV things. I'm still really mad about casting and how they've chosen to portray some of the characters. Just irks me something fierce.
I still like it. Can't convince me otherwise. I like it. The Expanse is good.
I know. I can't convince you otherwise. The books are better.
Well, the books are always better. The show's still good.
No.
Agree to disagree.
Hardcore. No. Yeah, but you also don't think the floor is a shelf, so...
The floor is not a shelf. The floor is a floor. It is not a specialized shelf. It is a floor. It is distinct from shelving. It is not a furniture shelf.
The floor is a shelf.
Floor is not a shelf. I will die on this molehill.
I know you will.
This is my molehill, and I'm staying right here.
That's it. I'm happy here. You can't make me move. Oh.
Okay,
all right. Coffee. I have moved my progress keeper. It is time. So I will say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you,
don't forget it. We're never on time. Never on time.